The Last Guest, a haunting at Hotel Cecil. Chapter 1. Check-in. It was never supposed to be permanent. Marla Dane arrived at the Cecil Hotel with a single suitcase, a dying phone, and a head full of bad decisions. She had just fled from a job that left her broken, a relationship that left her worse, and a city that never really wanted her to begin with. Los Angeles was her last shot. It was supposed to be a fresh start. Somewhere in the distance, she could still hear her mother's voice. Don't trust the things that look like they're standing still. They're usually waiting to strike. The lobby of the Hotel Cecil was a strange time capsule. Gold-trimmed elevators, faded crimson wallpaper, a cracked chandelier that swung ever so slightly, even when the air was still. It didn't smell like rot, not exactly, but like something forgotten and damp, like old curtains that had seen too much smoke and too little sunlight. Behind the front desk sat an older man, pale and stiff, with watery eyes that blinked once every 5 seconds. He wore a name tag that read Frank, though it was scratched and dulled from time. He didn't ask why she was there, nor did he offer a smile. Instead, he slid a tarnished brass key across the counter. Not a card, a key. Room 1432, he said, voice like dusty velvet. Don't lose it. Marla hesitated. How much per night again? Frank smiled then, just slightly. That depends how long you stay. She should have left then, walked out, found another place, even the back seat of her car. But something about the Cecil had her caught. The way the elevator took too long to arrive. The way the other guests didn't seem to notice her, as if their eyes were focused on something just behind her, as if they knew. The ride up was slow. The elevator groaned and jerked between each floor. Marla stared at her reflection in the mirrored paneling and noticed it blinked out of sync with her. When she got to room 1432, the hallway was deserted. Carpet eaten through by time. Lights flickering like they were gasping. Her key slid in with more ease than expected. The door creaked open, not from lack of oil, but as if it had been waiting. The room smelled like damp newspapers. Inside, one bed, one cracked television, one chair facing the window. The bathroom door hung slightly ajar, and behind it, a mirror shattered down the middle. She dropped her suitcase. The air felt thick. Her phone vibrated. 1 bar, 2% battery. She opened her text messages. One new message. From an unknown number. You shouldn't have come back. Marla froze. Her spine stiffened. She hadn't told anyone where she was staying. She hadn't come back. Except, what if she had? That night, she didn't sleep. Not because she wasn't tired, but because someone knocked on her door every hour. And each time she opened it, there was no one there. Just the faint sound of water running down the hallway, and something breathing behind the peeling wallpaper. Dur. 2. The girl in the elevator. By morning, Marla looked like she had been there for weeks. Her hair clung to her face in stringy waves, her eyes red-rimmed and wide. She hadn't changed out of her clothes, hadn't dared to sleep. The front desk was empty when she went down. No Frank, no noise. Just the soft hum of lights overhead and the faded buzzing of a fly somewhere nearby. She stepped into the elevator to go down to the lobby and check out. Her finger hovered over the button. As she pressed L, the elevator doors stopped halfway from closing, then opened again. A girl stood there. She was no older than 15, pale, hair hanging damp across her face, wearing a dress that looked like it was soaked at the bottom, like she'd waded through a lake. Her feet were bare. Marla moved to the side. The girl didn't enter. Instead, she looked up, slowly. Her eyes were all black. Then she stepped back. The doors closed. The elevator dropped 1 floor, 2, then jerked to a stop at the 3rd. The lights flickered. The doors opened. No one was there. Only a trail of wet footprints leading down the hallway. Marla stepped out, heart hammering. Her head told her to get back in and leave, but her legs betrayed her. She followed the footprints. At the end of the hallway was a vending machine, flickering, dead. To its right, a utility door slightly open, the sound of dripping water. She reached for the door. Inside was a stairwell, concrete, cold, and at the bottom, something was singing, a little girl's voice, off-key, twisted. Ring around the rosy, pocket full of posies. The moment Marla's foot touched the first step, her phone buzzed again. No, just that. 1 word. She stepped back. The singing stopped. The stairwell went pitch black. Chapter 3. Voices in the vents room. 1432 felt smaller when Marla returned. The walls seemed closer, the air heavier. There was something wet in the carpet near the bathroom, though nothing had spilled. She thought about asking for a new room, but something told her that wouldn't matter. She lay on the bed, not to sleep, but to rest, to think. Then she heard it, a soft whisper, just behind the wall. She sat up, held her breath. Whispers, 2, maybe 3 voices, too faint to make out words. But they were definitely there, crawling through the ventilation system, murmuring. She leaned toward the vent near the TV. Still here, watching her. She saw the girl. Marla stumbled back. She grabbed the room phone and dialed the front desk. A click. "Reception," came Frank's voice. "There are voices in my vent," she said. "I think someone's in the walls." Pause. Then, "Don't listen to them." Click. The line went dead. She pulled the chair to the wall and climbed up, inspecting the vent. Dust. Cobwebs. But something was scrawled on the inside of the grate. "Get out." The letters were written in something dark, something thick. She stared at it too long. When she turned back to the bed, the blankets had shifted, like someone had just gotten out. Chapter 4. The 5th floor's secret. The elevator didn't have a button for the 5th floor. Marla noticed it the second night after a long, silent walk through the lobby and back again. She rode the elevator up and down, pushed every button. It lit up 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. But not. So why, she wondered, had the elevator stopped at floor 5 just before midnight the night before, even though the light never turned on? That night, at 11:57 p.m., she tried it again. Alone in the elevator, she stood quietly, waited. Just as the numbers ticked past 4, it happened again. The elevator stopped. The light didn't change, the doors didn't open, but she felt it. She pressed the door open button. The hallway beyond was utterly dark. No light, no movement. She stepped out. Her feet didn't echo on the floor. Her breath didn't cloud. Her heartbeat felt muffled. This was no normal floor. Along the walls, portraits hung sideways. The wallpaper moved like it was breathing. Every few feet there were locked doors, but one was open. Room 512. Something about it felt wrong. Older. Too old. She peeked inside. The furniture was from another era, 1920s maybe. Velvet chairs, a radio. The air smelled like smoke and iron. In the center of the room was a bathtub filled with water, but no plumbing. And something moved beneath the surface. A face emerged. Pale, bloated, eyes open, mouth wide. Then it was gone. Marla ran, back to the elevator, hammered the button. Behind her, the water in the tub sloshed. Footsteps, wet, fast. The elevator opened just in time. As the doors closed, she saw the silhouette of the girl again. Only now, her face was peeling, and she was smiling. Chapter 5. Room 7. 12. Marla didn't remember falling asleep, but she awoke to the smell of something burning. A thick, acrid scent hung in the air, like plastic melting or hair catching fire. She scrambled from the bed, eyes darting, looking for smoke. But nothing burned, nothing visible. Then she saw the note. It was slipped under her door on hotel stationery. The logo faded, ink smudged. No envelope, just a single line in uneven handwriting. Go to room 712. It's the only way out. Marla turned it over. Nothing on the back. She opened the door. The hallway was empty again. No voices, no guests. Just that creeping hum of silence that had grown louder over time. She took the elevator down to the 7th floor. When the doors opened, the lights were flickering so fast it gave the impression of movement, like the walls were crawling. She stepped out, scanning each door until she found it. 712. Her hand hovered over the knob. It was already open a crack. Inside, the room was immaculate, clean, tidy. A made bed, a ticking clock, a vase of plastic flowers on the desk. It was wrong. On the far wall, a mirror stretched floor to ceiling. But it didn't reflect her properly. Her movements were delayed, just by a second, enough to unsettle. She stepped closer. In the reflection, the room behind her began to change. The bed unmade. The clock stopped. The flowers wilting. Her reflection, smiling. She wasn't. The Marla in the mirror tilted her head, then mouthed something. Stay. Marla backed away. Her reflection remained still. Then, all at once, it began pounding on the inside of the glass, screaming soundlessly. She turned to run, and there, in the doorway, stood Frank. But not the Frank she remembered. This version was pale, waxy, with dark veins tracing his jaw and forehead. His eyes had gone milky, almost blind. "You opened the wrong door," he whispered. Marla screamed and bolted past him. The hallway was changing behind her, walls closing, lights bursting overhead. From behind, the mirror shattered, and something crawled out. Chapter 6. Elevator Ritual. Marla ran until her lungs burned, feet thudding against the grimy carpet of the 7th floor, past broken sconces and peeling wallpaper. Behind her, something was following. She didn't look. She couldn't. She threw herself into the elevator, slamming the close button with frantic fingers. The doors creaked shut just as she heard a wet scraping sound, as if something long and boneless was dragging itself toward her. She collapsed to the floor, panting. The elevator didn't move. Instead, the buttons began to light up. On their own. 4 dots, 2 dots, 6, 10. She didn't touch anything. Then the lights went dark. The elevator shuddered, groaned, then started descending slowly. Too slowly. Marla's ears popped. The air inside felt heavy, as if water were pressing in from every side. She remembered an internet thread she'd read long ago about a supposed Korean elevator ritual to open a doorway to another world, a game you shouldn't play. The button sequence was eerily similar. When the elevator finally opened, she wasn't on the ground floor. She wasn't sure where she was. The hallway beyond looked older, decayed, everything covered in a thin film of soot or ash. There were no lights, yet the area glowed faintly with a sickly green hue. The air buzzed. She stepped out. The silence was broken by distant weeping. A child. She followed it, past warped doors and shattered picture frames. Every shadow felt alive, watching, stretching toward her. The sobbing led her to a stairwell she hadn't seen before, unmarked, rusted. At the bottom of the stairs was a heavy steel door, painted red. On it, in smeared black letters, "Do not open, even if she begs." Then she heard the voice. Faint, sweet, almost melodic. "Please, help me. I'm trapped." A woman's voice, familiar. It was her own. Chapter 7. The Red Door. The sound of her own voice echoed through the stairwell, gentle and pleading. "Please, I'm trapped. Don't leave me here." Marla froze. It wasn't just similar. It was exactly her voice. Down to the rasp in her breath, the panic behind the words. As though someone had recorded her, or become her. The steel door at the bottom of the stairs seemed to breathe. It pulsed faintly in the shadows, the red paint darkening like blood with each breath. She reached out, despite every instinct screaming not to. Her fingers hovered just above the handle. "Marla," the voice whispered now, "they're lying. You're already dead." That did it. She yanked her hand back and turned to run, but the stairwell behind her was gone. Only blackness remained. The red door groaned. Slowly, it creaked open. What lay beyond wasn't a room. It was a corridor, impossibly long and twisted, lined with hundreds of doors, each one marked with a different number. Some faded, some scratched in with nails or blood. The walls pulsed like muscle, wet and warm. Marla stepped through. The hallway behind her sealed shut. There was only forward. As she walked, she noticed something. Behind each door, there was movement. Shadows, scratching, whispers. She passed room 1045. Something inside giggled. Room 203, low sobbing. Room 714, a voice chanted the same words over and over. She watches, she waits, she wants. Then came room 1006. It was open just a crack, and through it, Marla saw herself, sitting on the floor, rocking, nails torn and bleeding, her face covered in dust, eyes wide, hollow. The mirror version looked up. "Don't keep going," it said. "You won't come back." A horrible, wet snap echoed behind her. She turned. A shadow was coming down the corridor. Long arms, no face, moving with erratic, twitching jerks. Marla didn't wait. She ran. The hallway shifted as she moved, doors rearranging, walls breathing, the floor pulsing beneath her steps like the hotel itself was alive. She didn't stop until she slammed into a large iron gate. Beyond it, an elevator. She shoved it open and threw herself inside, slamming buttons wildly. The creature reached the gate and stopped. It whispered her name. The elevator plunged. Darkness, then nothing.